Yo, what's going on, guys? We're back today to make a reaction and review video of the deep dives, but I swear it's like they don't want me to make these because I literally just recorded the first half, the Northstar. You can see like I'm already watched pretty much the whole thing, broke it down, and then OBS froze, and I tried to end the recording, and now the file's corrupted and won't load. So that's really fun. So we're gonna start with arcade, and then kind of maybe go through Northstar kind of fast because, like I said, I already watched it and everything, and it just didn't record. So I haven't seen arcade, so let's get started with that though. All right, let's go. I put the like half volume. All right, let's roll.
Going on, Summoners? We're back here today with another Champion Deep Dive. Today, we're talking about arcade.
Look at that smile.
So,
Jesus.
sit back and relax, because it's time to get into it.
That is an interesting looking special. What the heck? Cool.
Arcade enters the contest with fabulous prizes. On the pre-fight screen, Arcade can exchange persistent prize tickets to activate different effects that last for one fight. He can spend one ticket to activate Power Up, granting Incinerate immunity, and increasing the ability accuracy of personal effects and the stun from the parry mastery by 100%. He can spend 2 tickets to activate Cheat Code, granting Poison immunity, and reducing the ability accuracy of the opponent's True Strike, accuracy, and sense effects by 100%. And he can spend 3 tickets to activate Game Wizard, granting Shock immunity, and making it so the duration of his personal debuffs cannot be reduced. These pre-fights can only be used by Arcade, and the immunities attached don't activate against Cosmic Champions. Additionally, while defending, all 3 of these pre-fights are always active. Arcade starts each quest with 3 per-
Dude, that's okay. I heard like a lot of hype about arcade and the fact with his immunities. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, that's interesting. That's not as OP as people were making it out to be. But on defense, he has them all active. Okay.
persistent prize tickets. These max out at 5, and when winning a fight as an attacker, he converts. These Arcade starts each quest
3. Okay.
with 3 persistent prize tickets. These max out at 5, and when winning a fight as an attacker, he converts 50% of all arcade tokens into persistent prize tokens. Now, after the second hit of his heavy attack, Arcade deploys a poisonous cloud for 10 seconds. When the opponent enters a cloud, he gains 1 arcade token. Each second the opponent is inside the cloud, they're inflicted with a poison debuff for 10 seconds. And each second the opponent stays in the cloud, he gains 1 more arcade token. While defending, he gains tokens in the same way. However, gains 2 each time his opponent is poisoned. Each token increases his armor rating and the potency.
Dude, you already know this guy's AI. It's going to be like Mysterio. It's going to be like Kindred. He is just going to be the heaviest happy champion in the game, bro, setting those traps. Already know it. Already know it.
Of his personal damaging debuffs by 10%, and when he's knocked down, he loses 5. While Arcade has 10 tokens, he gains an indefinite auto-block passive, granting a 100% chance to auto-block incoming attacks. When auto-blocking an attack, he triggers the parry mastery, consumes 8 tokens, and inflicts a shock debuff for 10 seconds. Arcade can't auto-block heavy attacks, and while defending, he can auto-block with 3, and only consumes 3 while doing so. With 2 or more arcade tokens, he also has a 100% chance to auto-block attacks while charging or releasing his own heavy attack. Additionally, at the start of each fight, a booby trap is placed in the defender's corner, and while the opponent is on top of the trap, they're 60% more likely to launch a special attack. When the opponent is on top of the booby trap, charging or releasing Arcade's heavy attack causes it to explode and passively stun the opponent for 3 seconds. After this happens, the booby trap goes on standby for 20 seconds, or 10 seconds while defending. As an attacker, this expires 15% faster per unique personal damaging debuff on the opponent. Additionally, Arcade does not benefit from the Collar Tech Mastery. Instead, he gains increased attack rating for each rank invested and reduces the opponent's defensive combat power rate by 7% for each unique personal damaging debuff on them. Also, Arcade's 4th light attack disables his special 3 for 0.5 seconds. Now, let's check out his special attacks. After the second hit of the special 1, he deploys a poisonous cloud at the opponent's location. Additionally, the final 3 hits inflict shock debuffs for 10 seconds. With the special 2, the first 4 flamethrower hits inflict incinerate debuffs, and the final 3 buzzsaw hits inflict bleed debuffs, all for 20 seconds.
This is a wild session too. I like it. Oh, this looks fun. Door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. Go ahead, APOC.
The special 3. At the end of this attack,
I wonder if it
Arcade
changes.
randomly inflicts an indefinite bleed, rupture,
Oh, it does.
or shock debuff.
It's cool.
Now, let's check out his signature ability.
I like that. I like that.
When awakened,
Sick, dude.
just before auto-blocking an attack, Arcade gains a non-stacking steadfast buff for up to 10 seconds. This is paused during the opponent's special attacks.
Steadfast just allows you to block unblockable. That is... wow.
And won't trigger if the attack is a heavy or if the opponent has an active Undermine effect. Additionally,
Undermine.
when the opponent enters a poisonous cloud, he inflicts a torment debuff of up to 15% potency for 5 seconds. This maxes out at 3 stacks, starts paused, and is unpaused when the opponent exits the poisonous cloud. Now, let's see the show in action in the champion rotation. To begin, strike the opponent and
Before we see the rotation, dude, my socks are already kind of knocked off here. This guy is looking so much better than Northstar, in my opinion, but let's keep
push them back toward the wall. You could use your heavy to place a poisonous cloud and start building your arcade tokens. Your booby trap in the corner will make the defender more likely to use their special attack. So, bait a special and then chain your heavy after your punish to trigger the trap and gain more tokens. From here, max out your power and perform a light ending combo to disable your special 3 and use your special 2 in the corner. Feel free to play a little aggressive, since your tokens will let you auto-block incoming attacks. Then, use your special 1 to place the rest of your debuffs and watch the opponent melt in your traps. And hey, don't forget about those pre-fights that grant different immunities and benefits to Arcade at the start of the fight. These allow him to take a variety of different fights in different ways. And while in no way required, Arcade synergizes nicely with the Collar Tech Mastery, gaining increased attack rating and reducing the opponent's defensive combat power rate by 7% for each unique personal damaging debuff. There are lots of ways to use Arcade, so depending on the fight before you, choose the right pre-fight and let the games begin. Thank you for watching this Champion Deep Dive for Arcade. And hey, if you liked the video and want to see more, click subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you haven't already, join the official Marvel Contest of Champions Discord and come discuss. And remember, we'll see you in the battle realm.
Dude, I see what the hype is today. Wow, man. This guy looks good. Like, so let's go watch the Northstar one. I kind of skimmed through it a little bit. Or, you know, let's just watch it on point 125. I've already watched it once. Alright, then we'll talk about
Star
both.
enters the contest with blinding speed. All of his light attacks have a chance to grant a reverb charge, with this chance being greater the fewer that he has. But sit tight, we'll get more into those later. Also, against skill champions, his second medium attack inflicts a non-stacking armor break debuff for 12 seconds. While this is active, the opponent's critical resistance is lowered by 80%. And, if purified, he gains a reverb charge. Now, He begins each fight with a Speed Burst passive on cooldown for 24 seconds. When this expires, a dormant Speed Burst becomes available. Launching a special attack during or after a dash, or after punishing a heavy or special attack, activates Speed Burst for 13 seconds. Speed Burst is paused while performing a dash, medium, or striker attack. Also, during either champion's special attacks. And while it's active, Northstar's special attacks cost 25% less power. When Speed Burst is over, it goes on cooldown again. But Northstar's medium attack hits cause the cooldown to briefly expire faster. Additionally, while defending, Speed Burst activates immediately upon cooldown expiration. Now, activating a special attack grants 1 indefinite momentum per bar of power spent. This also happens when a skill opponent evades. Each momentum charge reduces the cooldown of Speed Burst by 2 seconds, and, as an attacker, grants additional effects. At 2 momentum, Northstar becomes passively unstoppable while performing a dash or dash attack. At 6, he becomes passively unblockable if the first or second hit hits the opponent's block during a special attack. And, at the max of 10 momentum, the final hit of his special attacks inflict a stun passive for 1.5 seconds. Furthermore, on activation of his special attacks, he has a 100% chance to gain a 9% prowess buff per momentum for 10 seconds. This maxes out at 40 stacks. Also, all special attack hits have a 4% chance per momentum to grant an additional prowess. And if Speed Burst is active, they gain increased critical rating. Now, on activation of his special 1, he inflicts a slow passive for 8 seconds. This duration is increased by 2 seconds per momentum. Additionally, each hit has a 15% chance to pause personal prowess and reverb effects for 2 seconds. These can stack and expire one at a time. Also, if the hit was critical, he has a 100% chance to gain an additional pause. With the special 2,
That slow is real nice on that special 1. Passive duration slow, that can be with the duration
each
can
hit
be
converts
increased.
one reverb
That's
charge
real nice.
into an 8% reverb passive for 14 seconds. Reverb causes hits to deal a
This
burst
is
of
interesting.
additional physical damage
Passive
based
reverb.
on the damage dealt. If the hit was critical, he gains 2 reverb passives instead. Also, if Speed Burst is active, he has a 20% chance to gain an additional reverb. The Special 3. At the end of this attack, he gains 8 reverb charges. And, for the rest of the fight, his chance to trigger prowess, reverb charges, and pause effects is increased by 110%. This stacks
Really
up to 2
good.
times.
Sounds
Now,
really
let's
good.
check out his signature ability. When awakened, whenever Northstar would gain momentum, he gains a physical resistance passive for 6 seconds. This duration is increased by 2 seconds per momentum and maxes out at 1 stack. Additionally, while a physical resistance effect is active, incoming attacks have up to 60% reduced block penetration. And he also gains a Reinforce passive.
That's
Reinforce
interesting.
ensures that incoming attacks cannot be critical hits. Now, let's take him out for a spin in the champion rotation.
This guy is like a bootleg bullseye counter. Bootleg bullseye counter, that's what I'm calling him.
To begin, strike the opponent with your light attacks to start building up your reverb charges. While ramping, you could complete light ending combos to stack on as many as possible. Build to under your special 3, then dash in and cancel your medium into a special to trigger speed burst, gain prowess, and convert your reverb charges into reverb passives. Since your specials will cost less power, you could follow it up immediately with your special 1 to inflict slow, pause your effects, and of course, burst the opponent down. From here, continue using your special 1s until speed burst expires or the opponent is knocked out. Now, keep in mind, against skill champions, performing a second medium attack will inflict an armor break debuff that will lower the opponent's critical resistance by 80%. And the more specials that you use, the more prowess you'll gain. Speaking of, in a longer fight, you could use your special 3 to increase the chance of triggering prowess, reverb, and pause effects by 110%. Plus, you'll be able to easily max out your momentum, leading to more prowess, bigger specials, and mind-blowing bursts of reverb damage. And at 10 momentum, your special attacks will leave the opponent passively stunned, making it easier to chain specials and close out those fights with big crits and monstrous red damage.
Dude, we gotta go back. I did this in the first one, which I think it recorded. But the damage here, right here, is absurd. Let's watch
Do
this
they max
in
out
slow
their
motion.
momentum?
Look at this damage here. This 52k, 96k burst. These bursts right up here, 73k on 26k crit. Those are each 100k. Dude, that was like over 600,000 damage in that special too. And then this special one here, doing bunch of 15k bursts, that's easily over like 150k. Special one, like up until that point in this video, I was very underwhelmed. That damage was really nice. But when I see Northstar, I just struggle to like where am I really going to be using this guy? Like I said, he's a bootleg bullseye counter. What I mean by that is, sure, he seems like he has some stuff that can counter bullseye, but there's so many other champions that already seem like better bullseye counters, and they're already in the game. They're already on our rosters. You know, like Mr. Sinister, he got buffed. He's one of the best bullseye counters in the game now. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I just don't really. I'm just having a bit of a tough time seeing where Northstar is really going to be super useful in the game. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. But like, whereas Arcade, on the other hand, I can already see so many implications for this guy. I can easily see him being a mainstay in like just about any Battlegrounds deck. Seems like he'll be a great defender just at his base. Plus, those pre-fights are going to allow him to open him up to so many, offensive matchups when you're in a cinch and you need one of those pre-fights for an immunity. He can utilize any one of his pre-fights in any given Battlegrounds match since he starts with 3, and the most one of his pre-fights can consume is 3 charges. So out of these two champs, I am much, much more looking forward to Arcade. This guy looks awesome. Really excited about him now. This is the first champion in like months that I've actually been excited for. This year so far has been honestly very underwhelming and pretty disappointing, honestly. Champion release-wise, we're halfway through the year now, and it's pretty disappointing. And I think it's just because last year was the best year for MCOC ever, in my opinion. I've been playing the game for my 8th year, and last year was just without a doubt the best year I've ever experienced playing the game. It was just so good. The champion releases were so good too. Just such a phenomenal year. So it's a hard year to follow up. It's a very hard year to follow up. But yeah, Arcade's looking pretty good. That's my thoughts, reactions, reviews of these new champions for the deep dives. Let me know what you guys think about all that. Drop a like if you want to see me to keep making these deep dive reaction videos every single month. If you guys want them, I can keep making them. If not, don't have to either. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. I really enjoyed the Arcade deep dive, man. And if it wasn't for the technical issues, in the first time with the Northstar one, would have been better. But it's all good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.